Let's see. Junk mail, overdue notice, junk mail. Ooh, what's this? We're being sponsored by Dev Sisters for the 5th anniversary of CookieRun Kingdom? Are these the details?
My dearest Gingerbud Cookie, as I'm sure you must have heard, our prosperous kingdom will be celebrating its 5th anniversary soon. The time passes by so quickly, doesn't it? These days, I often find myself emotional when I hear the cream sheep following their shepherd's home through my open window, as it reminds me of how far we have come once more. This joy at our kingdom's flourishing has inspired me. Why not host a party for my fellow cookies to celebrate? Perhaps something grand, for all cookies to leave their worries at the door and dance to their crumbs. Oh, what fun! Unfortunately, I was so caught up in planning the festivities that I forgot I no longer own anything to suit the occasion. And now, every tailor from here to the Fairy Kingdom is booked solid. I ask you humbly, would it be possible to fit my dear friends and I into your schedule? I've enclosed the details with this letter, just in case. Of course, you will also find the invitations for you and the members of your staff as well, as I should never think to ask such a favor and not repay you in kind. Please, come and be merry. It is sure to be a momentous occasion. Signed, Pure Vanilla Cookie.
No way! No way, no way, no way! This is an emergency! We have a new client and 4 cookies to dress for the anniversary gala. All hands on deck!
We are out of waffle sheets!
Whipped cream, please, someone,
I
give me the
accidentally
whipped
put
cream!
someone in the oven!
Forgot to buy the fridge! I tripped, I left the oven, I'm sorry!
Looky, I'm Gingerbud Cookie, and this is my boutique in the Vanilla Kingdom. We can dress you up to suit any occasion, but we don't have time for introductions. We've got work to do. For the CookieRun 5th anniversary, I'll be dressing up 4 beautiful clients for the festivities. Pure Vanilla Cookie, Shadow Milk Cookie, White Lily Cookie, and our tiny hero himself, Gingerbrev. Since this was such a huge rush order, I asked my team to help me gather up inspiration for each outfit to save time. I could have done it myself, but that much all at once would have had me in crumbs by the time we were done. And I wanted to see what they would come up with. I need these boards on my desk by the end of today.
Yes, sir!
Once they'd brought me their visions for each client, and after I'd spent a little bit of time in my sketchbook practicing drawing a few of the cookies. A few. Once I'd spent time practicing drawing more Shadow Milk and Pure Vanilla, I felt like I had a better grasp on how the costumes from the game are structured. From there, I started roughing out design drafts. We'll start with Gingerbrev. Gingerbrev presents the unique problem of having thicker limbs than all the other cookies. He's like the only one with a pure gingerbread cookie shape, so they didn't need to shrink him down to accommodate clothes. And he doesn't have very many costumes as a result, but that means he looks pretty bulky in anything you put him in, which I was the most worried about from the beginning. The most common direction I received from my team was that of a nutcracker. If it wasn't a nutcracker, it was a knight or a squire. Practically every mood board turned in had this image, and that made my job very easy. I love my team. We are of one mind. I did have to be pretty sparing with the details throughout because, as I mentioned, he's pretty thick in the limbs, so adding too much on top would make him look like a tank and completely negate his happy little guy energy. I think the most fun I had with each draft was moving around his skull buttons. It's one of my favorite details of his. He's just a little man, but those buttons say, "Grrr, don't forget, I'll fight to the end," or something like that. It's such a kid thing. But that settles the first 6 drafts. Surely the client will be happy with at least one of these, so 3 cookies to go. Moving on to Pure Vanilla Cookie, to start with, I grabbed a section of Pure Vanilla Cookie's talking sprites, and I peeled him. Removed all of his major design features except for his face and bangs, because cookie proportions are very unique and specific to be able to fit all their design details in. Peeling him first and being able to draw out my ideas directly on top of his official proportions allowed me to focus purely on the outfits, while also knowing that they would look nice and canon compliant, so I did this for all of my clients. Pure Vanilla Cookie's existing costumes all share a few common themes. They're all based in some type of religious leader imagery or mythology like Oberon, the king of fairies. I focused mainly on the religious aspect of his usual costumes to expand on, since that was a pretty common theme I saw in the mood boards, and he's so cute in all his big robes and his big silly hats. Since this was a rush order for each design, I put making sure their silhouettes were interesting and that they all had variety above their color palettes being wildly different. So nobody's color schemes really drift too far from the colors of their default design, but they're iconic, it's fine. I really liked the Pope-like vibe of the bottom right design, and I thought the top middle turned out so cute, so the bottom left was my attempt at mixing those two, and is pretty much where I think I'll go with this. I was a little shocked to receive an order for one of the beasts. I even thought it might have all been a trick from the Cookie of Deceit himself, but no, it was definitely pure vanilla Cookie's handwriting, so I'm more than happy to oblige. ᴬᵒᵃ design is very asymmetrical. It's mostly in his eyes and his sleeves, but he's meant to look very chaotic, and his hair has tricked a lot of cookies into thinking that it was a hat. Not so, my friends, that is his hair, and I'm gonna see if he'll let me braid it. Because ᴬᵒᵃ is, let's say capricious. He seems like the type who would take whatever I made him and still show up in something else, so I was going back and forth with the vibes of all my different drafts on if I think he would behave for this event or not. Will he show up dressed to the nines, ready to wow the crowd, or will he show up in something deliberately out of place to cause a commotion? I had the most fun experimenting with the shapes of his hair in all the different drafts, really leaning into his shapeshifter aspect, seeing what I could do with such a high fantasy magic hairstyle. Overall, the top left was my favorite of the batch, but I think it's just a little too out of place, even for ᴬᵒᵃ. So instead, I think I'll be mixing the Harlequin hair and mask from the bottom left with the outfit on the bottom middle. For Miss White Lily Cookie, we can take a look through her costumes, and I feel we could agree that she's pretty elegant. Long, straight lines, gentle curves, especially with her all-white Titania dress. It should be pretty easy to make her an outfit fit for a gala. The general direction that was given to me was foliage. Makes sense. I certainly didn't expect anything else. I am not complaining. It would work well with her whole weird girl fae energy. If I can imagine her getting lost from the party to the garden because she's looking at frogs, then I feel like I've done my job right. I had a very nice time making all kinds of lovely, adorable dresses, only I ran into a problem. A lot of these designs were really cute, but not super gala-worthy. They don't look sophisticated enough for an event like this. Some of them feel more like you'd see it at a high school dance. The fifth one in the bottom middle, I thought I was really getting somewhere with because she's so elegant, and I love the nod to her connection to the fairy kingdom with the fabric hanging off the back. But as I was going over these designs with my assistants, Ghost Cookie made the observation that she doesn't commit enough to her level of contrast. The bottom right design made my heart sing, but I just can't imagine it at a gala. It's too short and girlish. Super cute, and I really love it, but I just can't make a case for it. I'll just have to make a note of it while I figure out how I'm going to get all these outfits finalized. And all my drafts are done. Now I just need to measure and cut the fabric, sew it all, fit it, add the jellies, hem it, and do all that for 4 cookies. Oh, and it's already that late? I don't have time for all 4. What am I gonna do?
Don't worry, boss.
We're here to help.
Oh, you guys. Okay, Fuzzy Bug Cookie, you take White Lily Cookie. Chili Lime Salt Cookie, you take Ginger Brave and Pure Vanilla Cookie. I'll take care of ᴬᵒᵃ Cookie.
We're on it.
I wonder. 4 cookies for the 5th anniversary? Ah! It's evening already! I gotta hurry! 2 of my dearest seamstresses so graciously took a few of these designs off my hands to polish with my notes, and I'm genuinely so grateful. My hands and wrists cannot speak, but if they could, they'd be groveling. Let's start with Ginger Brave. Polished by my beloved Chili Lime Salt Cookie, Ginger Brave was pretty straightforward. I'm pretty sure we didn't change a single thing from the top left draft. Overcomplicating his outfit with details would just make his face and hair look more out of place, so we kept it simple. I sort of regret that we weren't able to take more of a Nutcracker direction like so many of the teams suggested, but it was just too busy, and I think this turned out much better than trying to force it. He's just a little guy. He's all cleaned up and looking snazzy like a proper knight for the Vanilla Kingdom. Chili Lime Salt Cookie also finished up Pure Vanilla Cookie's outfit for me. For this design, I mostly went with the bottom left draft with a few minor differences. The crown of lilies around his... I think it's called a bishop's mitre? I don't know. In my head, I've just been calling it a really awesome Pope hat, but I kept that. And we left the white flowers out of the length of his hair because it just got a little too busy after a point. I did bring in the feathery wing shawl from my second draft, though, as a cheeky reference to his blueberry bird friends, but overall, it's pretty much 1-to-1 after that. Save for the staff, although keen-eyed viewers might notice one more thing. For his staff, I did a few different drafts, but my favorite ended up being this one. I think that when the staff has 2 serpents on it, it's called a crozier, but But since I didn't want to keep the vanilla orchid staff untouched and I wanted it to match, I thought that instead of the eye, that the twin snakes would be a nice reference to the cookie that's always watching. And that about covers it for Pure Vanilla Cookie. He may not be their king anymore, but he's still a beloved leader and a light in the room. Next up is µⴍⴜ and boy, where do I begin? I chose to finish his outfit myself because I wanted to be sure I really took my time with capturing the vision. My notes would have been harder to convey than just finishing him on my own, but we are all familiar with how when I am dealing with my faves, or just in general really excited about something, I will find a way to psych myself out and make it feel so much more difficult. And that happened again. Again. It happens every time! Because he gave me such a hard time, the final version of his outfit changed a few ways from the draft. I felt like the double ruffles at his wrist had too much action, so I reeled that in. And then I had the issue of a few too many details, like his hair and his feet and his coattails all ending at the same point, which made him look very flat in an unappealing way. It's really important for the visual interest to stagger the details in your design, so you can't just skewer them with a straight line. So I shortened his hair, made his tailcoats longer, things like that. Nothing huge, but significant enough that I could feel better about it. Except then he just looked like regular µⴍⴜ So I tossed out the tailcoat completely, made his ponytails much larger so his Harlequin themes could be that much louder, and I kept a single layer of the sleeve. And that's that on µⴍⴜ No idea if he knows he'll be attending, but that's not really my concern. I just make the clothes. White Lily Cookie's dress was finished up by my darlingest fuzzy bug cookie. What ended up happening was that I mixed the dress from my third draft and the braid from my fourth. The dress had the strongest shape and value contrast with her hair, which is ultimately why it beat out the bottom middle draft. Rip Queen. As for the braid, I took a few notes from the mood boards again to incorporate pomegranate seeds for a little more flair, since in some cases it symbolizes life, death, and rebirth, and that's kind of a big thing for White Lily. White Lily Cookie also has a lot of softer, sturdier shapes in her design to create a flow like a curtain of algae. And I really think she'll be turning heads as soon as she walks in. I don't think she'll even notice though, because I do think that we will be losing her to frog hunting. Go have fun, White Lily Cookie, it's a party!
Oh my goodness. My, what a trifle. What a quaint, abstinent affair. Oh, Pure Vanilla Cookie. Celebrating the 5th anniversary. I do believe there is someone you may have forgotten to invite.
Dark Enchantress Cookie? You're late!
Excuse me?
Well, actually, you're right on time. I made you a dress too.
Oh,
I can't show up for the 5th anniversary gala with only 4 outfits. Oh, and don't forget your berry juice.
Oh, why not?
Dark Enchantress Cookie's original design is very simple. She's one of the first cookies to be Shonen Kingdom, so her hair and clothes definitely aren't as ornate as the average designs would eventually get. But she didn't really need it. She has a very clear split colors and bulky horns and shoulders to make her look even more imposing. And her design has always been very coded towards death and finality, to contrast with White Lily's themes of life and curiosity. And in this recent update, that was even more apparent when she got a gorgeous new look. This is the diva that would bring all of Cookie Kind to their knees. She needs no introduction. Terrifying. To commemorate her release as a playable cookie, we'll focus on her new outfit for our base. One of the mood boards I was given specifically made a note that in addition to her original demonic elements, certain parts of her design have edged more towards draconic, with her cape being replaced by wings and some of her minions seeming to have dragon runes in their dough. Very exciting, a brand new era for our beautiful evil queen. But this isn't about that. Pure Vanilla Cookie gave me a mission. I have to make her extra pretty for the gala. I set to work pulling all the villainous inspiration that I could from what my team brought me. All kinds of frills and huge ornate headpieces. Dark Enchantress Cookie's silhouette is by far the largest and most dangerous of all my clients today, so I thought to also look a little further into drag queen inspiration because so many show-stopping pieces are huge. I was in love with the headpiece of the top middle draft, but the dress? I did like the shapes of it, but when I sat back, it's just too symmetrical. That's just not her. I had better luck on other drafts, like the bottom right. There's something just I don't know, something kind of repulsive about her. So once again, we slapped one head onto another body. My absolute goat, chili lime salt cookie, came in clutch once again to bring the final look to life. She had a lot of great suggestions that got incorporated into the final look, like inverting the scalloping on her veil to make it look more sharp and intimidating, lifting the veil up to drape over her head as well to bring some extra pizzazz to her tiara, and changing the hairstyle from a long ponytail to an updo. The longer hairstyle was just kind of adding on to how bottom-heavy the look was coming out, so bunching it all up on top instead added a little more visual interest to the horns, and we could use the curls and the shadows of her bun to reincorporate the tendril look of the bottom of her dress. She was partially designed with contrasting White Lily Cookie in mind to emphasize their themes of life and death. And finally, done! All 5 outfits for the 5th anniversary of CookieRun Kingdom. All is right with the world. Thank you all so much for coming today. No cookie could dress a whole gala's worth of cookies by themselves, as much as I'd have liked to. So I'd love to see the work of other fabulous designers in the kingdom. Tag me on social media, show me your dandy little outfits, and join us in celebrating CookieRun Kingdom's 5th anniversary by downloading CookieRun Kingdom now. Link is in the description. I'm gonna go dunk myself in the punch bowl now. Goodbye!
Bye.